Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to On the Bright Line podcast, tales from recovering food addicts from the perspective of a physician, a therapist, and an off-the-wall storyteller. We are not affiliated or endorsed by Brightline Eating, and all content presented in this podcast represents our personal opinions and does not represent medical, nutritional, or psychological professional advice. Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of On the Bright Line podcast. We are so happy for you to be joining us. We're still a little bit segregated. Segregated? Did I say that out loud? Separated.
Not good.
Separated.
We're not segregated. I'm so sorry. Anyway, Robin is in her home tonight, and I am obviously at Bonnie's house. So, today we are going to talk about clothing. My favorite subject, shopping. I think we all have that in common. I think we enjoy
Absolutely.
shopping, but we are really going to talk about the need for buying clothes when you're losing weight and how that can be emotionally taxing, and how maybe some strategies for how to manage, purchasing clothing and what that's going to look like when you're on a weight loss journey. So, anybody have any desire to start talking about this?
Well, I know when I moved up, I brought some of my larger size clothes and handed them to Bonnie. And then Bonnie started handing Meagan clothing. And I think, Meagan, now you're wearing some of my clothing.
I think there's a t-shirt. There is a t-shirt that I own that used to be Robin's, which
Okay.
for everybody in the universe, Robin, what size do you wear?
Right now, I used to wear a 6.
Okay.
And now I'm probably wearing like a size 2 or 4, just just depending.
So Robin is a small individual and has always been small. So she has not struggled with her weight. She has not come for big numbers. I used to wear a size 24. And I'm wearing Robin's old clothes, which are 6s.
Yep.
Which is crazy.
So
Whoop,
if
whoop.
you don't have friends to hand you down clothes, let's talk through this. Let's talk through this for real. Because I mean, the reality is that you can't go from a size 24 and continue to wear size 24 clothes all the way down to what I am now in, which is a 6 or a medium. I'm wearing a medium or a 6. Like that's what I'm wearing. So now it's like, what do you do? Like, what do you do? Like especially if you don't have the money to buy a full wardrobe at every size, like how do you manage this? Because, you still got to go outside and put clothes on. Well, I mean, if you want to, but you should put clothes on when you go outside. I think that our society says you got to do that. So
yeah.
Bonnie.
Well, I of course had a little stash of clothes of different sizes because, like many people, I have gained and lost about 40 pounds over and over and over and over and over. So I had a few clothes that I had, stuffed up in some box in the attic, that did fit. And I did get clothes given to me by other people, including Robin. I'm still wearing some of Robin's jeans. They're really comfortable. And so, in fact, I like them so much. This is a hack. I went online and because this brand doesn't make this style anymore. So I went online and found it from somebody. There are people that go to thrift shops and buy stuff for $1 and then sell them online. Right?
Okay. So where do you find these things?
I just Googled like the exact size and style of jeans that I wanted. And it just comes up as an individual seller, like on whatever, eBay or whatever. So
I see eBay.
So for $15, I got a pair of jeans that would normally be whatever, $60. Right. And they're the exact, and I know they fit because they're the exact whatever. The only problem was they definitely did smell like the Goodwill store, and I had to wash them about 20 times to get the whatever funk out of them, but they were almost new. I mean, really. So that is something that you can do is the thrift store situation.
Well, I was going to say too, like I have teenage nieces or teenagery nieces and they love to thrift shop. Like it's their favorite thing. I get very overwhelmed by the thrift store. Like it's a lot. And if you're not skilled at it or it's not a well-organized one, it can be super overwhelming. But what I have found is here in my area, there are consignment shops. And what I like about the
Yes.
consignment, which they can be a little more expensive than thrift stores, but they tend to be very picky about the clothes they buy. So it's going to be nice things that aren't worn in funny.
Still pretty new.
Yeah, pretty well, or newer. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Well, their consignment stores are generally more like modern,
Yes.
current clothing.
Well, and that's the
whereas-
thing is like the consignment store that I love that I go to
Yeah.
here in the area, they are very picky because I sell my clothes to
Yep.
them as well. And so they
Yeah.
are very picky about what they only buy seasonal stuff in style. And it's like, I
Mhm.
mean, and you can walk in there and I could find something every single time I'm there. So the last time I was there, I took 10 pairs of jeans into the, dressing room. I walked out with 3, which, anyone will know as a woman, that's pretty miraculous
Yeah.
to find any
Yeah.
jeans
Yeah.
that fit you well, so.
Right.
I think like for all of us, if you've struggled with weight, there's a anxiety about shopping for clothes in general.
Yes.
If you're on the weight loss plan and BLE and you're losing weight, I will tell you it's delightful, right? To go in and get into a smaller size,
Yeah.
but there is still a lot of anxiety about how you're going to look in the clothes and all that kind of stuff. There is anxiety about letting go of your larger clothes. I literally had, I think 3 boxes in my closet with clothes of different sizes that I've moved up and down through. Right.
Oh.
And there's a psychological, it's like your pacifier, right? It's like the thing you don't want to let go of. So there's a psychological thing of like, well, I need to hold on to these because if I gain weight again, and that's already starting with the attitude that I might stop this and gain weight again. And I will just tell you, it is kind of part of the abstinence part of this program to, when you're really out of that size, really let it go. I mean, don't let it go when it's still kind of fitting you. But when you get to the point where, you're where you were, whatever, you're a size 24 and now you're in a size 18, take your size 24 to the consignment store. That's going to help get you some money for the stuff that you're going to need to buy in your interim. Do not buy a ton of clothes. If you got to work in a professional environment or you got to have some stuff, get some stuff, try to get stuff that is flexible in sizes, like that can be taken in if you really like it or whatever, because, depending on what your goal is, you may have a lot more sizes to go through and it is silly to spend a ton of money on.
Well, and I think I mean, to me, that's kind of the way that I've managed it is very utilitarian as far as, and as my friends will tell you, Bonnie and Robin here, I am a clothes horse and I love me some clothes. I love to look cute. And so it's been hard for me to not walk away, but to really not go hog wild. And so like, let's talk about a transfer addiction. Like, let's talk about a transfer addiction of shopping.
Dopamine hit. I did it today. So I'm kind of back in the weight loss plan because I had weight creep in maintenance. And so I have kind of recommitted to, being back in a little bit of caloric austerity. And so I'm not getting
Whoa. I'm sorry. What? Can you define those words that just came out of your mouth?
Cut the calories down because I've gone back to the weight loss plan. And I've cut out the extra coffee that I was having, that I was getting a dopamine hit from. Coffee is my problem, guy.
All about coffee.
Oh my God.
And so I was getting a dopamine hit from that, right? And so I found myself today, like in the store, and I was going to buy a gift for somebody, and then I bought something for myself. And as I was walking out, I'm like, oh, I've just exchanged the dopamine I was gonna get from the food to this, which is good that I'm not eating the food, but like I can't buy clothes every day.
Right.
Or buy something for myself every day to get dopamine. So I'm going to need to get curious about that and find some other ways to make myself feel good this week. And so, so there is a thing like some people can get,
I was going to tell a cautionary tale. Would you like to hear the cautionary tale? Okay. So starting at a size 24, when I finally got down to a size 14, which was the smallest size that Lane Bryant carries. Like, let's just put that out there for all of us plus size women. We know that like Lane Bryant is the staple and like Torrid is the secondary staple. So if you're if you're someone who works in a professional environment, that's where you got to shop. There's no place else to shop. So, anyway, long story short, I was at a 14 and I'm like, huzzah. Like I'm in this. I've made it. I've arrived. Right. I didn't think I was done losing weight, but for some reason I decided to replace the majority of my wardrobe all at one time in a size 14. I know. So I went out and I spent all this money. And then again, let's talk about a transfer addiction. There was some serious dopamine going because I was in the smallest size in the store that I'd shopped at since I was a teenager. And here I can go. And I did. And I kind of went hog wild. So like 2 months later, when none of those clothes fit me anymore. Now I have all these clothes I have to do something with. No, this is a funny story. One of my Instagram followers saw me at my local farmer's market and DM'd me afterwards and said she was there. I know, which is funny because I'm like, please talk to me. If you see me in public, please talk to me. I am a normal person. Do not avoid me. But we ended up meeting up afterwards because she was in the size that she was in those 14. So I was able to give her all my size 14
awesome.
jeans. So
Yeah, so
and I might give you clothes if
help
you
a
say hi
BLE
to me.
sister out, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right. If you see me in public, say hi to me because I will definitely give you my jeans. I won't give the ones off my back though, I promise. No, but all kidding aside, I think I think there's a lot of emotion that goes into the different, going down in sizes, getting into a different size, getting excited about getting into a different size for sure.
And I had fear, like getting the smaller clothes, and I had fear, I'm spending money on these and it's expensive.
Yes.
And I'm
It's funny
worried I'm
because I
going to
have
regain
not
weight.
had that fear.
Yeah. And I mean, I did buy some,
Oh.
like I'm in a 4-6, but I bought like some 2s, and like those aren't fitting me right now because I had the weight
Is that
creep, right?
time we went shopping? We got you that stuff for
Maybe,
the
yeah.
wedding. Yeah.
Yeah. So now it's like, so I have that anxiety still, right? I'm still kind of working through that. Like I still have a couple of sizes of clothes that I wear. And because I've bounced back all the way back up so many times in my life when I've lost weight.
Yeah.
That's a major anxiety in the back of my mind. Right. So, yeah.
So on the one hand, you're celebrating, yay, I'm down in this smaller size. But then there is another part of you, IFS foreshadowing, right? There's another part of you that says, but what if?
Yeah. Is it going to happen again? Because it always happens.
Right. Well, and let's also talk about, because I'm a big proponent of like, sorry guys, I have a little tickle, of like not wearing clothes that are too big for you. So I feel like this is something that's huge in this community, in the BLE community specifically, that people will, and I don't know if it's because that's where they're comfortable, that they're like, I'm going to wear clothes that are too big for me because it hides me or whatever the case might be, but it is a thing. And I feel so bad. My mastermind group they're chuckling right now because they hear me talking about it. It's like we get on our Marco Polo and they're like, Meagan, is this too big for me? Because they know I'll call them out if it is, because it's really important to me that I'm like, you need to, I mean, and again, if you want to wear oversized clothes, wear oversized clothes. Like I'm not, if that's your style choice, like I'm not judging anybody for their style choices. But if you really don't understand like what your body looks like in clothes because you are in such a different size than you've ever been before, ask a friend because they'll be honest. Well, hopefully your friends will be honest. I'll be honest. You can ask me, send me a picture.
Yeah. I mean, I think like the style of clothes I always chose were very loose, baggy, whatever, because I was trying to hide my weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'm so happy that crop tops are back in because now I have a midriff.
I still can't do that. And I bought one and I still can't wear it.
Oh,
no, but you know what I mean? Like I've still got that. I can't do that. You know what I mean? It's weird. Yeah. Something.
Well, and I just also want to mention like going from like plus size clothing, like being someone who came from big numbers, going from plus size clothing to like regular, normal, whatever
sizes,
size clothing is also a very surreal and odd experience because you also go through this time period of like, where do I shop? I've had like 3 stores total that I could shop at for the majority of my life. Now I can shop anywhere and I don't know what to do with that. I'm like, where do I shop now? I mean, any store is available.
But that's really interesting, right? Because you go from saying, okay, I can shop at these 2 or 3 stores to that have then defined your style, right?
Because now you're limited by their choices.
Right. I can shop at almost any store. And now what is my style? Who
we know
am
what my
I,
style
right?
is. We don't have a problem with that. But yes, that is a struggle.
Well, and what is my style when I'm not wearing all black, baggy, covering up my weight clothes, right? Yeah.
I never did that.
Like I still struggle to buy something that has colors in it. Because it's just like dark is slimming, dark is slimming, dark is slimming. That's what we were raised by our mothers already telling us, right? Here's what you do.
Oh no, for sure.
Right.
Hide yourself. And now to say I'm going to wear bright colors and I can shop at any of these stores that all have these very different styles.
Yeah.
Who am I now in this right size body?
Right.
Or in this
and the element of hiding, I think that's the other thing is the element of like the hidden feeling like you need to cover up because of a perceived flaw or, having excess weight or whatever.
Shame
shame. Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
Shame, that goes with that. I think that, I don't know. I've said it before and I'll continue to say it that I'm a huge proponent of the body positivity movement. I believe that anybody should wear anything they feel comfortable in. I don't
Mhm.
have a problem with anybody choosing whatever clothing they want.
Yep.
But like I just want people to feel good. Like that's kind of, where I'm at. It's like choose clothes that make you feel
Mhm.
good. And so it's hard when your body's changing because it's like, I joke now, but it's not really a joke. Like I love the way my body looks in clothes. I look freaking amazing. Now
Mhm.
my problem is what I look like without clothes, which never was the problem before, but that's a whole
Right.
nother, episode and we've already made it. So we're not going to talk about it again.
Right. Right.
Well,
So where
oh, go ahead.
where are some other options for getting clothes? Like I know I've had a couple of clients talk about doing clothing swaps, kind of like the three of us
Yes.
do, but on a little bit larger scale, right? And putting
Well,
it out there to all their friends.
Oh, cool.
and I would also say, like, if you're part of a BLE community, like a local meetup BLE community, of which there are many across the nation, like that is something you could organize within your, BLE friends, because the likelihood of
Right.
everyone being the same size is slim to none, right? So, like, if you guys are
Right.
all
But
different sizes, I didn't even realize I did that. But yes, it's late, guys. I'm sorry, brain's not functioning. But I just think that that's something that could happen too, is that if you wanted to
Mhm.
organize a clothing swap, I think that
That's
would
a
be a
great idea.
great idea. And I think also like,
Mhm.
I mean, being in the community, if you're plugged into the community at all, whether in an official or unofficial capacity, there's always going to be people that are going to be in need because we're shifting body sizes. Like that's what we're doing in this, And so if you have excess clothes like I did, like here are my jeans in a size 14, please take them off my hands because I know you can
Mhm.
use them and that they might help you along on your journey. Like I think that's another thing to really think about. So um yeah, I think I think when you're moving down sizes, like you should definitely not go out and buy a whole new wardrobe in every size unless you can afford that, and then more power to you, do whatever you want to do.
Right.
But if that's not your, if that's not who you are, thrift stores, consignment stores, doing like what Bonnie was saying, like finding stuff
Right.
online, used clothing, and honestly, it's better for the environment, guys. I'm not going to try and preach on that too much, but
Yeah.
we don't need to buy fast fashion. We can buy used clothing
Mhm.
that has life left in it, and it doesn't, that way it does, stuff doesn't go to the dump. So
And also, a
Mhm.
lot of people that come from big numbers, even from not big numbers, like from 50 pounds or more, notice that their shoe size goes down a half a shoe size. So just
I
be aware of
wish,
that.
Mhm.
I wish,
Yeah. Yours
no,
didn't.
didn't happen.
What's the
No.
worst thing you've ever bought that you never wore?
The worst thing I ever bought that I never wore. I don't know. Do you have something in mind? I'm
No.
like, give me an example.
Yeah,
Right.
I bought this like little jumpsuity thing that had like cutouts in it, and it just looks ridiculous. I mean, it's just ridiculous and it's not
Why did you
appropriate for
buy
my
it?
age. I don't
Apparently,
know.
you did not go shopping with Megan and you bought that on your own. You're
I'm
not
sure I
allowed.
did. And it's just like I never wore it. I just brand new and I gave it to I had to give it to a
Yeah.
consignment store or whatever, brand new.
I bought the dress that I wore for my birthday this last year, that leopard print dress. If people who follow me on social media, they saw it. I
Mhm.
bought that dress months and months ago. And then by the time that day rolled around and I put it on my body,
It's
it
too
was
big.
too big. I was like,
Oh,
yeah.
I know. I remember I bought a dress 15 or 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was this cool, like black and white geometric pattern dress that
right,
it was a little tight when I bought it.
Yeah.
It was like a Liz Claiborne, for my
right.
generation, like a nice dress from like a nice department store.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to hold on to it. It's a little tight, but it's just so cute. I just love the way it looks. Right. And then of course I gained and I gained and again, I never wore it,
Mhm.
and then I've kept it and I've moved twice with it. I've moved
I
and moved,
remember you wearing
right.
this dress. I remember
And
the
then
story.
I
Mhm.
got on BLE and I finally like pulled. I was like, oh, I bet I can wear that now. And I pulled it. It was like too loose. I was like,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. That's the stinky thing.
Like
When
I
you buy something
outgrew
and
it
you
and then
shrink
I
past it. You're
grew
like,
cut. Yeah.
what?
A bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know this
We
is
we
kind of, oh, go ahead, Robin.
we may need to have like another clothing trade. We
Oh, I
may
do.
need to like purge our closets because I know there's probably three pairs of pants that have been sitting in my closet. And like I've kept them because I'm emotionally attached to them
Yeah.
and I bought
But
them
if you
and I
give them to
love
your
them.
best friends, then we can wear them and enjoy them.
And now
And
Megan and I are going
that's
to fight over them and that'll be great.
and that's
They're
exactly
mine.
it. That's exactly it. So maybe we
Love
need
it.
to have like another
Another
Love it.
clothing
clothing
swap.
trade day. Yeah.
I will just tell you, it is a surreal experience for me. And I've been friends with Bonnie and Robin for 15 years.
Yeah.
to be able to even think about, like, I'm staying at Bonnie's house tonight just for the world to know. Like,
Right.
if I forgot something, I'd be like, oh, but Bonnie, I could wear something of Bonnie's. Never before in my life have I
Right.
ever felt that way where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, if I'm staying with a person who's in a normal sized body, I could just borrow something of
Wow,
theirs.
I
It
didn't
was
think about
well,
that.
and I will shout
Right.
out to my mastermind group member Carla, because she was talking about this the other day. Like, she sometimes has to travel for work, and she was talking about how now that she's in, like, not
A normal
a
size. If she
normal
needs to
sized
buy something
body,
on the
if she
fly.
needs to buy something on the fly, she can, because she's like, before, if I
Right.
needed to buy underwear, she's like, I'm
Yeah.
screwed. And Carla, I love you. If you're embarrassed I'm
Mhm.
telling you the story, I'm sorry, but I had to tell it. But it's so true, because
Yeah.
if you're in a 3X or
Yeah.
4X or whatever, and
Yep.
you're screwed if you can't find,
Yeah.
if you're out and
Yep.
about,
Yeah.
like, you can't just run to Walmart and get that sometimes.
Mhm.
So it is a surreal experience to be in a, normal, no, quote unquote, normal size body, bright body, and be able to shop anywhere, to know that you can pick up, you could, if you're at a sporting event,
Mhm.
you can pick up a sweatshirt that's in your size.
Mhm.
Like, that's kind of stuff never happened to me before. So
Yeah. I bet the jacket you bought for the hot chocolate run that barely fit you is now too big.
Yep.
it is definitely too big. So this is a story we should tell. So we do this and Robin's actually got this one of the sweatshirts on right now.
We
So it's
didn't do
not
it
my
this year.
food.
This is our first year to miss.
It is our first year to
Yeah.
miss, and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was a couple weekends ago. So
Yeah.
we will do it next year. We're dedicating. We're going to do it next year. So we regularly do it's the hot chocolate 5K. So I know it's not my food, but it's a really fun, just energetic run, and they have the best swag, like the
Yeah.
best
Yeah.
swag, the sweatshirts,
Yeah.
the jackets, like, it's the best swag. So every year they write on their thing, it runs small. Like, they always write on there, the women's sizes run small. And so, like,
Yep.
I always had to order the biggest size. And so that it was 2 years ago, right?
Yep.
2 years ago we
Yep.
did it, and I got the jacket, and I couldn't even zip the jacket up. So I just took it home. Like, I'm like, I couldn't even wear it
Mhm.
race day because it wouldn't fit. Yeah, it's way too big
Mhm.
now.
Mm.
Yeah. But it's just, those experiences are just things that, like, you just I don't even think you realize are a thing in life when you're a plus size person, when you're a
Yeah.
large bodied
I
person,
remember you being so frustrated and
Yep.
disappointed,
that it didn't fit.
Yep.
but like
Yeah.
that they weren't considering that different people would come to this race and they were not.
And I used to,
Different size people. Yeah.
I definitely used to rage. Like, I used
Yeah.
to rage when we would go to stuff
Mhm.
and there wouldn't be, like, I mean, I would do that with a lot of stuff. And, like, they're not even considering, a larger bodied person and
Mhm.
would be here that would want to buy a shirt
Right.
or something like that. Like, that just, it
Mhm.
used to make me so, I mean, and it still does make me angry for larger bodied people. I just thankfully now have a different experience in that. My annoyance now is that most people are a size medium. So when you go to the clearance section, there's not as many mediums there. Gosh darn it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Anything? Okay. So this is kind of a fluffy topic, but it's I think there's a lot of psychological aspects involved in,
Oh, yeah.
especially, and I don't want to discount men in this. I just don't have the male experience, and I don't think any of us have the male experience to talk about
Mhm.
clothing shopping for men. And I think it is a much different experience, because the way that, men in the clothing industry interact is very or should not always utilitarian, but is a lot more utilitarian than the way that women in the clothing
Yeah.
industry interact. And so we interact in a much more emotional way with our clothes and the way we present ourselves and that sort of thing. So I think it is very important to
Although I
talk
think, my husband definitely, was a size prior to doing BLE that also could not find pant waists in his size in
Right.
any department store.
Right.
So, and he's not extremely tall, but he had to go to the big and tall. And that was embarrassing.
Mhm.
And like, I can just remember like, gosh, your pants have like, they're getting wear. Like, we just need to get some more clothing. I don't want to. And it's like,
Right.
just doesn't want to go. I mean, so I think
Mhm.
some of the same things, right? That emotional thing. If it's not fun to go shop at a place where there's a limited selection and you know what I mean? And it's going to have to be the big and tall, whatever section.
Yeah.
And he's definitely had a better time and been more easy about, getting rid of the clothes that are threadbare and getting new clothes because he can just go in the whole department store and there's his size.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
that's a nice thing for everybody. So
Definitely is. Well, it's a great, obviously we have fun. I will always talk about clothing and shopping anytime, anywhere. Please call me, write me, whatever. I'll talk about shopping and clothing. I love it. But we really wanted to put this out there because we felt like it was a topic that a lot of people could probably relate to. So
Mhm.
That is our episode for today. We really thank you guys for listening. As always, if you have episode ideas, topics, questions for us, feel free to shoot us an email at onthebrightlinepodcast@gmail.com or hit us up on any of our social medias. I hope you guys all have a beautiful day.